heaven help me here. I'm going to be talking about anime for a second. This is something I don't do. I've stopped talking about anime because of the incessant, relentless, annoying badgering from anime fans. So as I talk about anime, I just want to put up this disclaimer right there. Stop you in your tracks. Don't want to hear it. Don't care. I'm talking about this because it's relevant to this. Not interested. Okay. Because I started watching some anime and I like some anime, and oh my gosh, you give them an inch and they'll beat you with a mile. So let's talk about this. Okay. Now, as far as the anime film for the Lord of the Rings, I don't. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows, right? I'm not. They all they gave us is a title card and a little bit of information. And actually, it's what's his name? I'm gonna butcher his name, but Kenji Kamicha, or I forget his last name. But he's the director from the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, which was an amazing series. That truly is one heck of a series. Really deep, wonderful themes, and really philosophical. He's the director of this film. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. It means they got somebody who understand or did a good anime once. Doesn't mean he's going to do a good Lord of the Rings series. So it could go either way, this film. But my point about it is a couple of things. First of all, what they're banking on is the fact that they're reading the culture. They're reading things. They're seeing that people are reading manga more than American comics. They're seeing people talk about how they're preferring just anime versus Western animation and so forth. They see that. So what do? They just start doing anime themselves and putting their own agendas into the anime. As Alec Purdue mentioned, the Castlevania. Now, I haven't watched the Castlevania series, but everybody, it seems was really pretty uniformly against what they did in season 3. Some people are even against what they did in season 1 and 2 with some character changes and whatnot. And it comes to this word anime. What is the definition of anime? And I'm not asking any of you. I know you guys can give me textbook definitions, but I'm saying in our culture right now, it's a very fluid term. I mean, technically, anime is just the Japanese word or term for animation. So any kind of animation that's done in Japan. Well, then how is that really the case? I mean, would we really call the original Thundercats series anime in all the other ways you would speak about anime? I mean, it was an American series just outsourced to Japan for the animation there. The Powerhouse, the Masters of the Universe, that people are saying that's anime. It's anime. Well, Powerhouse is in Austin, Texas. They're going to outsource some things. Is that really enough to call it anime? But they know the term is fluid enough because they see people, and I've seen these comments all the time, and I understand the sentiment behind it. I really do. And I share the frustration. But people are starting to say things like, this is why I'm done with Western animation. I watch anime. Okay, so what they mean, though, by that is they watch the anime series that have already kind of proven their worth. What these Hollywood ideologues here is, so all we have to do is just fly our stuff under the anime banner and people will come to it. People will check it out, especially if we get some certain people to work on it. Like the Cowboy Bebop live action series. I think we're pretty much all in agreement, or at least at the point when they released the fact that this was going to be a thing on Netflix, everybody is thinking no one asked for this. Cowboy Bebop was epic. Epic. Far too short, but I mean immensely epic series. From the story to the characterizations to the animation, certainly the soundtrack, the epic soundtrack. I mean, this was an amazing series, and then the film that they did to kind of fill it in and stuff. It was wonderful in every way. No one said, hey, that needs a live action remake. Because, I mean, look at the live action remakes they did. What was it? Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, Netflix doesn't have a good track record with this stuff, but they know that anime title is a powerful one because a lot of you will just automatically perk up when you hear that word anime. So they start flying their own agendas under that anime flag and banner because it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's such a thinned out, term that it can mean anything. They just outsource a little bit to Japan or take some inspiration from a little bit of a character design and they call it anime. And it's not really anime, right? So they just released the other day. I don't know if some of you caught it, but they got and I forget his name completely, but the guy who did the music, the soundtrack or the scores for Cowboy Bebop, the guy who's responsible for all that wonderful music in the animated series, is now going to be scoring the live action series. And I saw on Twitter the responses, and everybody, like, it was unanimous. the sentiment that, well, I don't think I like this live action Cowboy Bebop series, but now that they got him doing the music, well, maybe now could be. They know what they're doing, guys. They know what they're doing. Do you really think just because they get this person from Ghost in the Shell to work on a series, or this person from Cowboy Bebop to work on a series, that's going to stop them from putting in their agenda? In the case of Netflix, they've already proven that that's what they do with anime. Again, Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist was, both incarnations of that was quite epic. You know, both the original that outgrew the manga, and then the Brotherhood, you know, in particular, was wonderful. You don't need any more Full Metal Alchemist. Well, they got to do a live action of it or whatever. They got to keep doing something, you know, and everybody saw that and thought it was garbage. I never watched Death Note myself, but that's another one they did. And then and now they're doing Cowboy Bebop. Now, again, I don't know anything more specifically about these two, the Lord of the Rings anime film and the Cowboy Bebop live action. Yes. As far as I know, I haven't heard any deal breakers in terms of the actual story content or the actual portrayals, you know, on screen. I haven't heard any specific hardcore deal breakers I can show you and say this is why that's not going to work and it's horrible. So yes, it is possible, however improbable, it is possible that New Line Cinema's Lord of the Rings film might be really cool. It's possible. They've got somebody who's proven to be a good storyteller. We'll see if he even knows Lord of the Rings or is remotely good at that kind of adaptation. It's possible. We need to change our default reaction to these kinds of announcements. This is the key, and this is our response. So this is my wrap up of the new tactics portion of what they're doing here. The reason their new tactics like this are so successful, and they're proving successful already, and they're doing it more and more, where they're trying to predefine an argument and pit us against this side or that side, or you know, fly something under the anime banner and just automatically count on your interest and your curiosity and your clicks and your money, and you're going to watch it, you know, that kind of thing. The reason they can do that is because our default response to stuff like this in the media today is still, in general, with everyone, it's still, oh, I hope that's good. Oh, that sounds really cool. I hope that's good. I hope that's good. How many more times do you have to be burned by the fire before you temper that? I mean, it's naive. People, you guys are like Bullwinkle trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. This time for sure. You know, it's like, and you sound so ridiculous. This next series, this next one, you're so negative, Prof. You're so all the time. You're just, you know, you just got a problem with everything. And I'm logical. I read the signs and I see, and I'm not going to keep putting my hand in the flame thinking this time it won't burn me. That's silly. So now I'm not necessarily arguing that, as some people do, that the answer then is to completely automatically be against anything released, right? Because as I'm about to say this, I just see Nathaniel Zlozball put out, you mentioned Godzilla versus Kong. That's the exception to the rule, right? Godzilla versus Kong. I couldn't remember being excited for a movie. I couldn't remember feeling pretty confident that I was going to like a movie as it, you know, was on its way to being released. I mean, I seriously couldn't remember a time. It was before Captain Marvel in the MCU. That's how long it had been. Because the MCU at that time had proven to be, you know, concerned with story, not agenda, and so forth. So it had been a long time. And something like the Godzilla versus Kong can still happen, as we see it did happen. It's rare. It's very rare. But my point is, our default reaction needs to stop being, immediate excitement. Like, I hope they don't mess this up. We need to temper that. We need to start saying, as I'm saying with the Lord of the Rings movie, yeah, that's probably going to be a dumpster fire. I don't know that it is, and I'm not completely writing it off. I will continue to hear the updates as they come out and be looking in each of those updates for a deal breaker. And if I don't see a deal breaker, And there's nothing to tell me that this, maybe I'll go check it out. Maybe I will watch it to see, right? But we need to see this, and it's so hard to stick to that medium ground. People like to be reactionary. It's easier to just write everything off and hate everything, or to love everything and give everything a chance because you haven't seen it yet and blah, 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 But to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to give it to not just give it a chance automatically, but I'm going to read the evidence. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look for deal breakers, discerningly educate yourself about it before it's released. Get out of this stupid mindset, I just got to go see it before I can judge it. No, you don't. Once you've seen it, you've supported it. No one cares what you think about it at that point, as I've said. So beforehand, read those releases, look at the people involved, look at what they're saying, what they're doing, how they're behaving. These are things that'll tell you if it's worth watching or not. It's kind of like it's the same thing that I'm doing with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, I haven't really, it's been a while since I've looked for updates on that. So maybe they've released something that once I hear about it, I will say, oh no, that is a deal breaker or something. I don't know. But so far, I haven't seen anything that's a real deal breaker yet. I kind of like the things they're doing. I like the people involved. I like the premise. In a lot of ways, it's not what we would have liked, but it's too much time has passed, of course. Not everybody's alive and so forth to really have what we would have liked. So it can't be, that anymore to a certain degree. So yeah, I haven't really had any deal breakers yet. Again, I haven't, most recently in the last week or something, read up the updates and stuff like that. But so I'm gonna keep following that to see. But my default view isn't. I'm not squeeing about every little trailer they release. I'm not going, oh, this is gonna be so amazing. Please don't mess this up. Oh, no. And that kind of behavior, it shows this need for. Again, it's more about community. I've talked about this. It's more about people just needing to share an excitement over a new series together online and feel like they're one. They're part of the hashtag. They're part of a community. They especially when they hear their 2 or 3 favorite YouTubers, support this narrative of how we should react to this or that, and they're part of that, and they're in the comment section and so forth. That's more important to people, identity and belonging, than it is actually getting good stories. And that's a problem.